Real quick, I want to do a fair use. Barakatah Yahawah, Barakatah Yahawashi. And get infinite praises, infinite honor, and all praises and all glory unto Yahawah, BaHaSham, Yahawashi, BaHaSham, Rawchaa, QaDash. I'd like to give double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well and do well, to the elder apostles, bishops in Connecticut, the bishops, the preachers, the teachers, the evangelists, and the four winds preaching in truth and sincerity, the hopeful elect, which will be the elect. I say shalom to the Israelite foreigners whose phenotype may look like another nation, but bloodline goes back to Israel through your father, and have come back to the fold. Shalom to you sisters, you yahawah, who listen and learn under your husband, which is your spiritual leader, with meekness and with silence, right? Which this chick is not doing. She's not listening, learning in silence, and she's not just sitting back learning from her husband as she should do. You know, she's a female, right? Going into that feminist mentality. And the elder brother, I want to say he's from LA, but he went into an edifying lesson about this this female with her feminist mentality. And let's just hear a little bit of madness real quick, and then we'll get into the Lord, not being an author of confusion, right?
Okay, shit. I'm still reading Enoch, and I read something that has me buffering right now, and I'm going to talk this through. All right, so walk with the kid. We're going to throw some Jewish folklore in there too. So Adam was still at baseline, made on the 6th day. Adam and Lilith were made at the exact same time, meaning they're made of the exact same things. That essence, she has the same privileges that he has, meaning dominion over everything that moves across the land, the air, whatever, right? Vegetation, all the things. Now, Adam was pissed that Lilith would not be subordinate to him. She didn't have to, though, and she knew that, so she fled. I think that he asked God, I think he lied on Lilith, and I think he asked God to make him someone else, right? So he made Eve from his rib. But what got me to thinking, it doesn't even say that Eve is below him. She still, like Lilith, has the same power that Adam has, right? So, with that being said, I don't think the serpent was an actual serpent. I think the serpent is Adam. We don't have Adam's apples. Men have Adam's apples, right?
Oh, wow.
I think that is the seed of doubt that he fed. So we're talking about fruit, that he fed Eve. And Eve, knowing that she has same privileges and she's comparable to him, she's not above or below and vice versa, why would I think that my partner would do me dirty? And he did, because he has been there the whole damn time. When this serpent was talking to Eve, he was standing there. She bit the fruit and turned around and just handed it to him, and he didn't have no qualms about it. He ate it, right? And that's only to show the manipulation of man, I believe, not of woman. Because, again, I don't think that it was an actual piece of fruit. I think it was just the seed of doubt. And that's why niggas got big-ass Adam's apples now. It was the seed of doubt that he fucking fed Eve because she's unassuming and she's thinking that she got a motherfucking partner in crime. So, when shit really gets popping, he blames Eve because it seems as if she readily accepted the information too easily, right? Like she should have known better. Because if this is the fall of man, yet when they are removed from Eden, Eve's punishment is so that Adam will have dominion over her. Niggas have been ops since biblical fucking times.
Yeah, so this is 1 Corinthians chapter 14, verse 31. For ye may all prophesy one by one, that all may learn, right? So the Lord sends you out 2 by 2. The Lord said, if 2 or 3 are gathered together, there I am in the midst, which talk about Yahawashi, right? And he's saying if there's 2 or 3 people there, you prophesy one by one. You know, the spirit goes on one guy, and then the spirit gets on another guy, right? As it goes, you know. It says, and all may be comforted, right? You know, of what's being said through the Rawchaa QaDash, through the spirit. And it says, and the spirit of the prophets are subject to the prophets, and the prophets are all men. The prophet, there's not one prophet that's a woman, right? You have prophetess, and a prophetess is normally singers, or she's a wife of the prophet. That's the only way you could be a prophetess, right? And definitely not all you women can sing, and not all women are wives of prophets, right? I mean, even though that stock is going to go up exponentially, right? I think that's the word, right? And you know, because Isaiah 4 is coming up real soon, real life, right? Right? It's gonna be a living thing, right? The word's gonna jump off the page and be a living testimony, right? For the power is not the author of confusion, right? See, the Most High ain't here for confusion, right? Right? And that's pretty much the first thing that came to my mind. As in all the churches of the saints. So no matter where you go, you're going to see men prophesying. You're going to see men coming together, and you're going to see one start teaching. And as he goes, you can see another one, the spirit jumps on him, and then he goes, and the spirit may jump back on the brother, and they kind of going back and forth, and it looks like they're having this back and forth thing, but really it's just the spirit allowing it to just because energy, what it says, energy in itself, because the spirit is energy, right? Let's just say it that way. You understand? Because energy continues to move, right? What they used to tell you, a body in motion stays in motion. So like energy is like a body of energy. The spirit is a body of energy, and it has to keep in motion. It's continuous. It's like a current, right? So they tell you what energy is, like a current. It keeps on going. Right? So under that understanding, you know it'll jump between this brother, not just for that factor. It's also so one brother can't feel like he's more benevolent than the other, or you're this higher, this and that. No, the thing is all of the spirit. You mean that way the flesh profiteth nothing. It wasn't you. The spirit jumped on this, and then jumped on this brother, and jumped on it, and And sometimes you got to know how to step back and let the spirit roll, because the brother may have more to speak about, more scriptures to bring out, right? Because that's ultimately the spirit is the scriptures, not just you blah, 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 blah for a long ass time. It's more of the scriptures, but you know, who knows? You know, sometimes it goes like that. But imagine that. It tells you that the Lord is not the author of confusion. And right, the verse right after, he's not the author of confusion, but peace as in all the churches of the saints. Right after that says what? Let your women keep silent in the churches. Whoa. That is crazy that is the very next thing that pops up. Let your women keep silent in the churches, for it is not permitted unto them, right? It wasn't set up for you, right? It says the spirit of the prophets are subject to the prophets. Talking about the men. That means it's not permitted to you because you're not the prophets. You're not men, right? You're not the prophets, basically. This is just plain and simple. You're not the prophets, right? It's permitted, the prophecy and being a prophet is permitted to men, right? For it is not permitted unto them to speak, but they are commanded to be under obedience, as saith the law, right? And that's law right there. Right? Numbers chapter 30, verse 5. You know, because a woman is supposed to go from her father. That's why she has her father's last name, right? And then when she gets married, she has her husband's last name, right? So this shows that a woman was always supposed to have a man to rule over her, right? You understand? If her father disallowed her in the day that he heareth not any of her plagues or of her bounds wherewith she had bound her soul shall stand. So he hear it, he ain't with it, right? Another thing that she said out of her mouth, she trying to vow to the power, to God or whatever, right? And the father hear it, and he like, nah, that ain't gonna happen. I disagree, right? Then the Lord said, it's gonna be what the Father say, right? It shall stand, shall stand, and the Lord, Yahawah, shall forgive her because her father disallowed it. Her father rejected it, basically. Not because she said anything, showing you that a woman is to be silent in the church. Because if you make a vow, it could be disallowed. Or right here it says, but if her father refused it, whatever you say can be refused, right? So then what you have as a woman, you're trying to be a pastor, you're trying to read the Bible, you don't have no power, right? You could think it does in your feminist mind, but according to the spiritual realm, it don't have any power, according to Yahawah, BaHaSham, Yahawashi, right? Yeah, to refuse her to let's just do it again. But if her father refused to let her fulfill her vow or pledge on the day he hears of it, when all her vows and pledges, then all her vows and pledges will become invalid, right? Null and void, no good, rejected, right? Refused, right? Right there. Yahawah, BaHaSham, Yahawashi, will forgive her, right? He ain't forgiving the father for reject. He's going to forgive her for what she said, because the father came through and rejected it. showing you your what you got to say don't carry weight, right? I mean, so it says, yeah, we'll forgive her because because her father would not let her fulfill her vows. So you might think, oh, well, that's because she was in her father's house. She was young. She was just a child. She was just a kid. Well, it says right here, it says, I'll just do NLT. It says, now suppose a young woman makes a vow and bounds herself with a, with the impulsive pledge and later marries, right? So that's like for the for the father, that's how they're doing it like that on that one. But this one says, it says if her husband, so if she had at all an husband when she vows or utters aught out of her lips wherewith she bound her soul. Let me go ahead and do this real quick. And her husband bound, her husband hears it and hold his peace at her in the day that he hear it, when her vows then shall her vows stand, because he didn't speak against it, right? And her bonds wherewith she bound her soul shall stand. And if her husband learns of her vow or pledges and does not object, right? See, you have to object to what she has to say. And this is the husband, right? The man, the one that's meant to be over you, right? He hears of it. He hears of her vows and pledges will stand, right? But, right? Let's keep going. But if her husband disallowed her on the day that he hear it, when he then shall he make her vow with which she vowed, and that which she uttered with her lips, wherewith she bound her soul, of non-effect. See, now it's not going to go into effect because he rejected it, right? He objected it, disallowed. What was the other one said? Or refused, right? And Yahawah, BaHaSham, Yahawashi shall forgive her, right? But if her husband refuse to accept her vows or impulsive pledge on the day he hears of it, he nullified her commitment, and Yahawashi, BaHaSham, Yahawashi will forgive her, right? So he'll cancel it all out, right? You're not setting forth that commitment. No, not on my watch, right? And that's showing you that the man has the power. So how are you as a woman going to go into the church and try to teach the church? How are you going to sit there with the Bible? How are you going to say that Adam lied to the Heavenly Father about this Lilith, right? It doesn't make sense. Matter of fact, yeah. So this is John chapter 9, verse 31. It says, now we know that the power heareth not sinners, but if any man be a worshiper of the power, the Most High Yahawah BaHaSham Yahawashi, and doeth his will, right? Doeth the Father will, him he heareth. So how can you say that Adam lied, sin won, right? That's not doing the Lord's will. He sinned against Lilith. If you think that's real, because that's not real, but let's just, let's play your little charade, your little BS with you know what I mean, and just put some cold hard facts. That would be a sin. A lie is a sin. You think the Lord didn't know he lied? That's sin, right? Then you're saying he took the forbidden philosophy, right? 'Cause you had that was like the only part you had right, that it was not actual fruit, right? But then you went into some apple, Adam's apple. Well, who said it had anything to do with an apple? It never said it was an apple. Fruit just meaning a doctrine, right? Doesn't the Lord liken this word unto fruit? Does not the Lord liken this word unto meat, milk, water, bread? But it's not neither of those things, not legitimately, but I mean, it is spiritually, right? It is all those things, right? And the Lord doesn't answer them that does not do his will. So he ain't gonna lie. And then after lying, the Lord is still gonna give him what he asked for and put him over Eve and say that this is your punishment, Eve. No, that's just the order. As you can see, I just read in Numbers. It was always going to be that way. And you can go to, was it 1 Corinthians 11? This thing's consistent. We just went to 1 Corinthians, was it 1 Corinthians 14, 14 and 33, right? Showing you the Lord is not the author of confusion. That the woman's not supposed to speak in the church. That the man is to have authority over her. If she's to learn anything, let her learn of her husband, right? So you can't say that the Lord, he lied to the power. And let me read this one more time. It says, we know that the power of the Most High Yahawah BaHaSham Yahawashi heareth not sinners. So if he lied, he's a sinner. The Lord ain't hearing that. But if any man be a worshiper of the Most High power, Yahawah BaHaSham Yahawashi, and doeth his will, which we know that Adam was in transgression. He didn't do the will, but he still gave it to him because that was the will of the Father. That was the order. It was always going to be the order. The Lord was never going to change the order and all of a sudden say, oh, you know what, the woman, yes, she's equal with you. Right? Reading some bugged out doctrine, some book, and trying to equivalate that with the scriptures, man, which don't make sense. Right? Since the world began, was it not heard that any man opened the eyes of one that was blind? See? And that's the kind of thing that Yahawah BaHaSham Yahawashi does. That's what he did through Yahawashi, right? And you are blind, ultimately. Yeah, so this is Matthew chapter 13, verse 14, NLT and the KJV. I'm going to start at the KJV. And in them is fulfilled the prophecy of Elias, which saith, by hearing ye shall hear and not understand, which is basically Isaiah, right? And I think that's where a lot of these people are at, man. They're hearing, but they're not understanding. The prophets are out there, right? And seeing, it says, and shall hearing and shall not understand, and seeing ye shall see and not perceive. Yeah, see, because the prophets are out there speaking. You got different levels to this. You got the elders all the way on down. You know what I mean? So it says, this fulfills the prophecy of Isaiah that says, when you hear what I say, you will not understand. Right? And that happened to the Pharisees, right? Right? They heard what was being said, right? And they didn't understand. And when you see what I do, you will not comprehend. And I think that's what's going on, man. Right? That was going on in those times, and it's going on now. See, because obviously the men of Great Millstone on down are the men of the Lord, man. Right? And but you're not comprehending it. You're looking at it like, oh, those just some so-called, Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. Those are just some regular Joe Schmoes. They're nobody special. I don't gotta listen to them, right? That's how people feel, and I get it, but that's not how the Lord set it up, right? KJV, verse 15 says, "For this people heart is wax gross, and their ears are dull of hearing, and their eyes they have closed," right? And that's ultimately what you're doing, man. You just completely, you see us, you know what's going on, right? No one's ever broke down the Bible in such a way, especially when you deal with the men of Great Millstone, right? And then people got their little favoritisms, like they like different personalities and this and that. But there's plenty of brothers that's in Great Millstone. You could follow them, and you could follow thinking you could find the personality that you like and follow the truth. Matter of fact, you're a woman. You're gonna have to be looking for a man of the Lord anyway. If you're not, the mire of the streets in these here coming calamities that's about to happen, man. Right? Because you're definitely a you're enemy of Hamashiach at the end of the day, man. Right? It says, they hear and dull of hearing, and their eyes they have closed. Yeah. Yeah. Their eyes they have closed, lest at any time they should see with their eyes and hear with their ears and should understand with their heart, which is their mind, la'ab, right? Because you got the Lord said that you're supposed to be meek, right? And sit back and realize you don't know everything. Realize you're like you have to relearn this thing, right? But instead you think, aha, I'm gonna go get the book of Jasher, I'm gonna get the book of Jubilee, I'm gonna go get the book of was what's your Enoch? I'm gonna figure this all out. Well, the Lord already set men to figure it out, right? You know, I mean, we didn't have to go try to figure it out. I mean, we already had they already figured it out. Now, were there men that got a little bit more in depth and found a couple more things deep, some more understanding in this and this and that? Yeah, but we didn't throw out the baby with the bathwater, right? Just because we all of a sudden you got a little bit of knowledge, and now you don't have to follow the apostles, right? That's not the order. That's not how it's set up, right? Just what I mean? Now I have the same authority as you, and I don't have no. That's not. It ain't gonna never work like that. You can know all the things. You could break down every prophecy. You could break down everything better than Apostle Har. But that guy, he's already got his rank. He's already high. You're never gonna pull him down from his rank. Unlike Alazar tried to do it, and to no avail. Now he's out there known as the Pegasus, man, the gangster Pegasus. Right? It's not good, bro. To come against the men of the Lord of Yahawah BaHaSham, you are going to fail, right? Miserably. And it says, try to finish this up. Where was I at? I'll just go back to right here. They should see with their eyes and hear with their ears, and should understand with their heart, la'ab, your mind, right? You'll be able to open up your mind, which with the pure understanding, and should be converted, right? And con meaning with, vert meaning truth, right? You're going to convert with the truth. And a woman being over a man or being equal with a man is not the truth. And I should heal them, right? And that's what you need. You need a healing, right? Because that what you saying is off, man. You got too much of a masculine spirit on you. And when it comes to these last days, like, we're too close to the end for you to be acting like that, right? Because the men of the Lord ain't going to choose you. You're going to be left to the wolves. And I'm talking about physical wolves, right? You're going to be left to these, to the Mexican wolf, right? To the coyotes, the lions, and the tigers, the bears. And then you got these wild, crazy Jakes and these Edomites that's out here, that's going to be out here pew-pewing and pow-powing each other, right? It's not going to be pretty. You need to sit down some goddamn where. But it says for the heart, right? The la'ab, the mind of these people are hardened, man. Yeah. And that's this chick, these women, man. They're hard-headed, man. Sit down. Suffer not a woman to teach. It is not permitted that a woman should teach in the church or even speak in the church. Come on now. God dang, man. You can't follow simple instructions, man. And their ears cannot hear, right? And they have closed their eyes, right? Let's just ignore the facts that the Bible says a woman shall keep silent. The head of every man, the head of every woman is the man, and the head of the man is Hamashiach, and the head of Hamashiach is the Most High Yahawah. But you just close your eyes. You know what? Hamashiach and the Father are the same person, and then a woman is equal with the husband. And now you're guilty of adding and taking from the scriptures, man, which is gonna get you destroyed. That ain't what the scriptures say, man. Wow. So their eyes cannot see, and their ears cannot hear, and their hearts cannot understand, and they cannot turn to me. Ooh, wow. Right? Hey, this is keep it cut, right? Clear cut. Let's say that. So their eyes cannot see, their ears cannot hear, their heart cannot understand, and they cannot turn to me. Ooh. You can't turn to Yahawashi and let me heal them. Right? Because you don't know how to shut that up and sit down some goddamn where. So with all that, I want to give all praises, all honor, and all glory unto Yahawah, BaHaSham, Yahawashi, BaHaSham, Rawchaa, QaDash. I'd like to give double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well and do well. To the elder apostles, bishops in Connecticut, the bishops, the preachers, the teachers, the evangelists, and the four winds, preaching in truth and sincerity, risking your lives more now than ever, the hopeful elect, hey, shalom. To the Israelite foreigners who phenotype may look like another nation, but bloodline goes back to Israel through your father and have come back to the fold, shalom. To you sisters, yahawah, who listen and learn under your husband, which is your spiritual leader, with meekness and with silence, and above all, Kwam Yasharallah.